Good morning. It is 7:33 a.m. on Saturday, September 9th, 2017. I'm Christiana Ellis, and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. I feel like I maybe could have slept longer. But here I am. Whoops. I thought I might give a Luna update today. She's doing a lot better, actually. Excuse me, burp. I wouldn't say she is, 100% restored to normal or anything like that, but, so we're still doing a fair amount of medications, and it's clear that they're still, doing something, meaning when, it's just about time for her next dose or something, I can definitely tell. But that said, she's in many respects acting almost like her whole self. Um, Having a lot more energy. We're able to do a little bit more in the name of walks. I am pretty much never having to carry her anymore. And so it's a significant improvement, especially just since the last time I said anything about it. It's been a gradual process. She's not having to wear the cone hardly at all. Only, I tend to put it on her when she's going to be unattended for a while, just because I don't know what she might do when I'm not there to watch. But for the most part, she's not trying to excessively lick herself. She seems to be in less discomfort. She's peeing and pooping outside just fine, and things are going relatively well in that regard. She has her first follow-up appointment with the oncologist on Tuesday. So we'll see. I'm excited to finally be able to give her a bath because that's been something I'm not supposed to do while she's on radiation treatment for some reason. So she's kind of gross a little bit. Not too bad, but just enough that I would like to give her a bath. But yeah, so that's going all right. It's going all right. Uh, I'm still a little brain foggy this morning. I'm not sure necessarily exactly what inspired it. You know what? Okay, I think I do. I've been rewatching the Death Note anime, and I'm sure that what inspired it most recently, at least, is that Netflix made an American live action adaptation, and I didn't watch that. The reviews were not great. I might watch it at some point, but it did remind me of how much I did like that anime and how I had considered rewatching it in the past anyway. So I have been rewatching it, and it's really an interesting story. And it's relatively self-contained. It's only a 37 episode anime, and even that honestly has a little bit of filler in it, like just things that don't happen as quickly as they could have. But as just this cat and mouse game, I feel like there's not a lot of stories out there that have this particular character dynamic. In particular, a protagonist who is essentially the bad guy, um, but there's it's I don't know. It's a strange story, but it's really interesting also. If you don't know anything about it, this very short version is that there's things known as shinigamis, which are like Japanese death spirits, and they have death notes where they can kill people, human beings, by writing the person's name down in the death note, and that will make the person die, and the whatever that person's lifespan would have been cut short, that extra bit extends the Shinigami's lifespan, and that's how that would ordinarily work. But what the one Shinigami in particular does in the story is, because they're bored, they drop drop their death note where a human can find it. And it's picked up by a kid named Light Yagami, who's a teenager, a very high achieving, straight A, popular at school sort of type. But what he decides, given this power, because now that he has it, he discovers he can write anybody's name in the book, and that person will die. And this kid basically decides, I'm going to make the world a better place by killing any criminals that I ever hear about. And if the world knows that if you're a criminal, you're just going to die, then the world will be a better place. And so he becomes a mass murderer, killing thousands and thousands of people just on the basis that they have either been a criminal in the past, or they're suspected of being a criminal, or whatever. But he is also very comfortable killing anyone who tries to stop him, because he's trying to make the world a better place, and so they're trying to stop him from making the world a better place. They have to die too. And so it's interesting that, I mean, the show does not let him off the hook. The show does not pretend that he is actually doing a good thing. So it's interesting having a protagonist that the show does not support, right? It's one thing to have a show where you say, like, oh, you have like a supervillain protagonist, but the real story is that, oh, turns out he's actually got a heart of gold or something like that. Not this kid. But then the show's plot itself becomes this game of cat and mouse between the kid who has the notebook and the greatest detective in the world, who's trying to figure out something's fishy going on here. All of these criminals suddenly dying as soon as their names are announced on the TV or something, and something's weird there. And so this fantastic game of cat and mouse where there's a lot of interesting ins and outs, and playing with the various rules of this notebook. So I really like it. Can't vouch for the new live action version, but the anime version is good, and so I've been rewatching it. So there you have it. I will be talking tomorrow about the next episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and so with that, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow for 5 more minutes.